Welcome to Public House, intimate conversations with people making a difference in the Hudson Valley. And now, from Paula's Public House in Poughkeepsie, New York, here's Paula Young.
Hi everyone, I'm Paula Young. Welcome to this episode of Public House. And again, we are on the road and we are continuing our conversation with the County Executive, Marcus Molinaro. Marcus.
Thank you.
Hello. The parks of Dutchess, they are beautiful and there are many. And what is going on with them? Tell me.
Well, you know what they say. Marks for parks.
Marks for parks?
Anyway.
Okay.
That's what I say.
Okay.
Dutchess County has award-winning parks. So whether it's the stadium, Dutchess Stadium, or Bowdoin, or Quiet Cove, or any of our rail trails and so on, our parks are really our prized possessions, if you will. Great assets. They attract people from across the region.
Parks are owned by the state, the county.
So Dutchess County has Wilcox Park in Milan, Quiet Cove Park in Poughkeepsie, the Dutchess Rail Trail, the Harlan Valley Rail Trail, and Bowdoin Park in the town of Poughkeepsie, and of course Dutchess Stadium, owned and operated by Dutchess County. Dutchess Stadium is the only one that makes any money, by the way. The rest are all taxpayer subsidized. But that said, those parks are regional attractions, and we treat them as that, right? We don't, we recognize that, if you live in a town or village, you want to go to your municipal park. You take your kids out to the playground. Those are special in your community. We don't replicate that. We try to be those parks that kind of weave together all those beloved sort of local parks. So Dutchess County has been investing in our parks over the last 8 years, making great enhancements. Quiet Cove, we added another deck out into the Hudson River. There'll be a kayak launch added this spring that folks will be able to access. This old Navy boathouse where the crew competitions used to occur on the Hudson. You can go down the river, enjoy that. We've been making some water feature and other investments at Bowdoin Park. Folks can enjoy that. In fact, pretty soon we'll be announcing our next concert that'll occur at Bowdoin Park this summer. Investments at Wilcox and so on. I run the gamut. Just a week ago, we announced the expansion of the Harlan Valley Rail Trail. This is our oldest rail trail, hugs sort of through the natural landscape.
I have walked that rail trail back when I could walk.
Yeah.
I have really done a lot of it. It's beautiful. Concerts in Bowdoin Park. Are we getting Neil Diamond? What are we doing?
Well, I can't tell you who we're getting, but we're not getting Neil Diamond.
Okay.
The band we're getting will be a decent attraction, and it'll be another opportunity for folks to enjoy some great music. Of course, the airport's hosting a concert this summer as well. The Dutchess County Airport, Hudson Valley Regional Airport, we're hosting another concert. So we're expanding Harlan Valley Rail Trail, which is very, very important. We're in the process of gaining ownership of the old rail bed around the town of Poughkeepsie, so connecting the Dutchess Rail Trail to the walkway to this other trail connection, and our big expansion this year, the largest expansion of county parks in 40 years, is the purchase of Lake Walton. We've dubbed the Lake Walton Preserve. This is along the Dutchess Rail Trail in Hopewell Junction, town of East Fishkill, 240 acres, beautiful landscape that we're going to develop into a universally accessible park, not a playground, natural resource. So the trails, the viewing areas will all be accessible to everybody of every ability. We'll be organizing a Friends of Lake Walton Preserve to help us develop that park, but really exciting advancements in county parks.
Everybody of every ability. I know you're big with Think Differently, which is of every ability.
It is.
Now, the Special Olympics has now been refunded. Yay.
Yes, yeah.
Does that take place in one of these parks? Is that?
It will take place in Dutchess. So, 2 years ago, for the first time ever, we hosted the Special Olympics New York Winter Games. This summer, we were able to secure the Special Olympics Summer Games. 1,800 athletes from across New York converged to Dutchess County.
In which park or which stadium?
It'll be mostly at Dutchess Community College, Vassar College, and Mr. Todd's Gymnastics in Dutchess County.
Okay.
So none of the county parks will be hosting the Olympics because of the competition. I mean, summer games are much broader and much more involved than the winter games, although Bowdoin hosted the winter games. First time ever we're hosting the games. And I have to tell you, if you have an opportunity to come or to volunteer, you should do it.
Oh, I'm very excited about the whole thing.
Well, volunteering is important. We need nearly 2,000 volunteers.
Where do they sign up for that?
SpecialOlympicsNY.org. SpecialOlympicsNY.org. They tell us, and I believe them, that the summer games we hosted were the best they've ever had. We had the most volunteers any host has ever put forward, and I can tell you that this is life-changing. It is, if you experience this, to see people who achieve so amazingly, who compete so hard, who really inspire you. This is an opportunity to have your life altered.
Yes, and that's when you realize that, oh, my bad back, and oh, geez, I'm depressed. Get up and do something about it.
You also realize that every life has value, and every human deserves respect and dignity, and that everybody deserves an opportunity to compete and achieve. And it is inspiring, it is life-changing. And I tell business groups, if you have employees you want to do sort of a group activity, volunteer at the Special Olympics. It'll change your life.
Now, the park that you just bought, this Lake Walton, who paid for that?
Dutchess County taxpayers. We borrowed the money to purchase that land. We thought it was necessary, one, to preserve it, but two, because it is a real asset that will add to the county park system. We're able to do it within the county's budget. In fact, as I said in a previous segment, we've cut taxes each of these last 5 years, and I'm going to guess we're going to try to lower property taxes again next year. So we build this into our long-term capital planning, and we think it's an important addition to the county park system.
Which is very good for the person who lives here.
Yeah.
Now, something that troubles me a lot about Dutchess County is I will be driving and I see folks waiting what appears to be a long time for public transportation.
Yeah.
How do we fix that?
Well, I don't know that. I don't know they wait a long time. We track every bus.
It appears
yes,
to be.
well, fair enough. But
like I come back, they're still there.
Yes. Well, I don't know where you're going or coming or how long.
Never mind. That's a
She's
secret.
always coming and going.
That's right.
First, transportation in Dutchess is difficult because we are such a big community. Meaning, this isn't New York City. I mean, you'd have to quadruple the number of buses we'd have on the roads just to be regular stops, and we'd have nobody on them. So the problem is that we have a community that is mostly focused on vehicles, but there are a number of our population who demand and desire transportation. I believe in public transportation. Some other people of my political party don't. So it's a balancing act. How much are we willing to subsidize versus what is the right mix to make sure we're doing this right? So we expanded transportation into the city of Poughkeepsie. We expanded our route into Beacon. We've got a great partnership with Beacon on a loop that runs through the city of Beacon. There are areas in the county where we don't have enough riders to make it affordable to run a bus. So we're actually exploring partnerships with organizations like Uber and Lyft to create a relationship where maybe we move only a handful of people back and forth. But our paratransit, our dial-a-ride for seniors and those with disabilities, very effective tool used by many. And even our public transit system is used. The main lines are used. But we've had to be creative. We created partnerships with Vassar College and Marist College.
In South America, they have a sort of Uber where they get these little mini buses, and if you stand there and you put up 3, that means there's 3 people getting on, and they just basically run a route. But you're talking about Special Olympics and these parks. Could we arrange bus service for the parks or for?
We do.
We do that.
There are stops on our county park system. There's stops at major
employers.
employers.
Is that a seasonal?
No, every year, all year. I mean, unless of course the parks close. I mean, Quiet Cove we close in the winter months, but no, our parks are part of the routes. You could easily take a county bus to get to major employers, major shopping centers, and park system. But again, because we're such a big county where a third is rural, a third is suburban, and a third is urban, the needs are different, and making a bus system affordable and effective is complicated, because in some cases we might be only moving 2 or 3 people.
Right.
In others we have 50 or 100 people.
Complicated but not insurmountable.
No, listen, it's all about continuing to evolve the system. So if we're not quite getting it right this time, we'll try to get it right next time, and there'll be a new need. But I do think, though, that the relationship we've created with our paratransit, which is service direct smaller buses for those, shuttles for those with disabilities, Dial-a-Ride, which is a partnership we have with municipalities for senior citizens who need transportation, and then this exploration of partnership with Uber and Lyft, I think we'll create the right mix. But we'll always be at a situation where, quite frankly, we'll spend more per rider than certain other places, because we're moving people from more rural areas.
And further distances.
And further distances. Which, by the way, is important, right? So the longer the distance, right? If I'm 1 minute off in Red Hook, I can end up, because of that, being 20 minutes off in Poughkeepsie.
Missing your train,
Yeah.
yes. This was very interesting. Again, too short. Thank you. We will do this again.
We will.
I am Paula Young. These are interesting conversations with Marcus Molinaro. Please continue to ask me questions to ask him, and I will certainly bring them to the table. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you.
You bet.
Great. Hi, I'm Paula Young, and I'm the proprietor here of Paula's Public House. Do join me for good food, good cheer, and good fellowship. We are here, we have fun, and we'd love to have you be a part of it. Come on down.